Hello, welcome to another Cooking with Food Share people. I don't know what to call this. We still haven't really thought of a name for this, but today, by special request, I'm going to show you how, when I get given some mackerel, how I smoke it and then make it into a pate. And I think it'd be really nice, especially for this time of year. I quite often, when I make it, I give it to friends. It's a nice little gift. So I'm going to show you how I do it. So I was given these already filleted, and I have had them in the freezer because we've been trying to do this cook along for I don't know how many weeks now, and it just hasn't happened. So I put them in the freezer to preserve them. So the flesh is going to be a little bit softer than it would be if they were fresh. However, just because the texture has changed because it's been in the freezer, it will still make the most amazing pate. And when we smoke it, it's kind of like a dry way of cooking, really. So that will help dry it out. And also, the rub that we're going to put on it, that also will help to draw the moisture out. So don't worry if, you've got frozen mackerel. It still works really well. So like I say, I was already given these filleted. So what I'm going to do now is just get my knife and run it under there's some bones there. And even though mackerel bones are quite soft, you don't really want them in the pate, especially if you're giving them to someone. So I'm just going to take off that lining. It's like the stomach lining and those extra bones. And I'm just going to run that off. All right, and as you can see, I've got a tray over there where I've already done quite a few. So these are just a couple just to show you how easy it is, because sometimes people get put off filleting fish because of all the bones and they think it's a faff, but actually it's not too bad. All right, so there you go. I got this knife actually. I was going to show you how easy it is with just a normal knife. You don't need a filleting knife. All right. We're going to get our little knife now, and I'm going to show you how I lazily debone the mackerel. Now, you can just get a pair of tweezers, and I've got a pair of tweezers that I take the bones out, the pin bones down the middle. But it's a lot easier if you're doing a few fillets, like we would be for pate, to just do it this way. So, there we go. Just take the knife and run it. You'll be able to feel the bones. Just run it down that side, and then you're going to do the same thing on the other side of the bones, and you'll see that just comes out easily. That's all your bones gone. And then you can run your fingers down it, and you'll feel there's nothing left. That little cavity there is good for two things. Obviously, you get more flavour in there when you put your rub in, and of course, it's just been really, really quick to do. And just do that other one. All right, with all that out of the way then, just going to... So I would prepare these maybe the day before I was going to make the pate. The reason being, like we said earlier, this rub will help draw out some of the natural moisture that's in the mackerel. So, yeah, half an hour really is okay, but if you do it longer, do it longer. Do it one evening and then leave them in the fridge overnight, and that's what I've done with those. Okay, so I've nicely patted that on. It's just a dry rub. It's nice delicate fish, so you don't really want to be handling it too roughly. I'll just put that with the rest, and I'll show you what I do, how I prepare my pan. Well, the equipment for this part is not very much. I've got a nice close fitting lid for my big pan. You've seen this little boy before, my stock pot. It's very hard working. It's nice and deep. I don't think it needs to be exceptionally deep, because I'm going to also show you how I use oven trays as well. But this is my workhorse pot. Okay, and this rack I got out of a microwave that died. So if you come across one of these, it might be handy to keep one because it fits almost perfectly inside my pan, as you can see. You need some foil, and I've got some oil, and in this little bowl I've got some apple wood chips. Now I bought these a few years ago actually from Poundland, so keep your eyes open because you never know where you might find a bargain. But if you know anybody who cuts down trees or anything like that, think about, you can use, I think, pretty much any untreated wood, except for things like pine, you know. You don't want anything that's going to give off that sort of piney, resiny smell. So no resin, any resinous tree, forget those. But other ones, yeah, go for it. As you can see, they've been soaking in water, and that's going to help produce the smoke because they're going to be smouldering in the bottom of the pan. Now, the first job, to try and protect my little pan, put some foil on it. And then get my handful of chippings. Right, so I've just spread those out. Then I'm going to put my rack on top. If you want to have a little look, you'll see. There you go. The next step, I'm just going to brush my rack. Just going to give it a little bit of oil, a little bit of moisture so that my mackerel fillets don't stick to it. And then I'm just going to lay my mackerel fillets directly on it. I like to start with them face down first so that I get those nice lines through it. And you want to keep them all separate, not too far apart, but you don't want them overlapping. Just lay them side by side. So you can see they're all nicely laid out, like little sardines in a can. And because this isn't a lid that clips, let me put that down. Because this isn't a lid that like clips over the sides, or, you know, it's a close fitting lid, but it's not tight. In order to make a tight seal, I'm going to use another bit of foil, so it's probably not environmentally friendly, but you can keep reusing these until, well, you can't anymore. So I'll put that foil on first, and that will just help me to make a seal. And then I just scrunch this down. All right, and that just helps to keep everything in there. And then all we need to do, put it on the cooker, set fire to it, and leave it for about 30 minutes. If you didn't want to use a pan, if you haven't got a workhorse pan like I've got out there, you can do it with baking trays. Now I've got two that are the same size, and that's really important. They need to be the same size. You can see they're really warped. That's because I use them quite a lot. I stick them on the hob quite often, and so yeah, it kind of warps them. However, they're perfect for smoking lots of mackerel, and I am going to do that with this lot. Once again, it's the same principle. Foil, moistened wood chips, brush oil on your grate, and then I use the second one as a lid. So you can see it's like perfect. The size is perfect. And then what I do, instead of putting the foil in between them, I actually I just tear bits of foil because I don't like waste. and I use that to seal the edges. I'll get a nice tight seal on them once it's done, and then I just stick that on my hob. So obviously that's too big to go on just one ring. I'd have to light 2 rings, but because I can get so much more done, it's a lot quicker. So kind of works out in the end. Yep, so same principle, but yeah, just using the second pan as a lid. Okay then, after 30 minutes on a medium heat, I guess, until your kitchen stinks. No wonder no one comes over. This is what it should look like. Again, I wish you had smelly vision, because that smells amazing. Just watch yourself when you take it off, because you can see all this steam rising. Right. It's like a gender reveal party, isn't it? Now, I don't know if you can see how lovely and golden they are. Really beautiful. I'm just going to lift one up. Just using my little spatula here. Do it really carefully, because obviously it's nice and delicate. See the colour on that? It's just beautifully cooked, and there's so much flavour. So what we're going to do now then is, I like to peel the skin off. I actually quite like to eat the skin, to be fair. That's my little treat while I'm making this. But I take the skin off for the pate because you can't really break it down very well. And I think if I'm giving it up to people, I kind of like it to look nice. But it doesn't impair the flavour in any way. So if you like the skin, keep the skin. Like, we don't like waste, do we? But it actually tastes delicious. Have a little go while you're making your pate. So I'm just going to do the same for all these fillets. And then I'll show you what else we need to add to it. Now, while I was peeling those, I was thinking, credit for this, for me learning how to smoke at home, I need to give to an amazing chef that I worked with, that I learnt a lot from actually. I only worked with him a small time, was Tom Franklin Price. And last time I heard about him, he was working down Porthmere. If he's still there, go and try some of his food. He's amazing. But he used to smoke mussels. I've smoked peppers this way. Try like anything really. If you've got a bit of ham hock, you could smoke that, and then you can make yourself some nice smoky beans and bacon. Like, just have a go. Anyway, back to this. So you can see there then I've got all my lovely flaky fish. The next thing I'm going to add to it is some cream cheese. Now, I'm not giving you weights here. We're just going to do it to our own personal taste. So what I'm going to do, I'll start off with half of this, and then we'll see how we get on. As you can imagine, there's a lot of amazing flavours in there. You can see it's still nice and moist as well, but it's not watery. It's like just got really juicy. So put half of this, and this is only like, this is the cheap stuff. However, it's the full fat. I've tried using low fat, and it's just rubbish. It just makes it all watery, and you don't really want that, especially if you're not going to eat it straight away. That's the thing. Right, okay, so we've got that in there. Just going to flake up my fish into that. I'm also going to add some parsley in a minute. Now, because once again, I've been waiting to do this for a few days, I put the parsley in the freezer. But if you've got fresh parsley, use that. If you've only got dried parsley, I'm sure that'd be fine too. There's no reason why not, but just put a bit less in, because dried parsley tends to have, well, I guess the flavour's more concentrated. A nice big handful, you know, big grab of parsley. And I've got here some really super finely chopped red onion. So I'm just going to chuck some of that in there as well. And you'll notice I've not put any seasoning in yet. That's because there's a lot of seasoning in there with the jerk. All right, look at the lovely colours in there. So you've got the red of the onion and the parsley. They all kind of contrast with each other, and I'm a big fan of lots of different colours in my food, as you know. One last, two more ingredients that I always add. Horseradish. You don't have to add horseradish, but I think you miss it if you don't have it in there. So I like to put a fair amount in, get that all in. And you'll notice I'm leaving the lemon juice, the salt and pepper till last, because we want to taste it first. Right, here we go then. Just have to use this. That's delicious, but it can actually deal with maybe a bit of pepper and a bit of salt. But sometimes you wouldn't need to. It depends on how salty your jerk rub is to start with, really, I guess. So I'm just putting half a lemon in there, squeezing it out. Right, so that is my smoked mackerel pate. That's how I like to make it. This is amazing on hot buttered toast. That's my favourite way to have it. I also try and put it up. I don't try. I also put it in wraps sometimes. But if you wanted to make loads of this and you wanted to give it to people as gifts, you can preserve it if you put it in little jars, but make sure they're sterile. Like really, really boil them up. Sterilise them. And then when you've put your pate inside, if you get some clarified butter and just pour some of that over the top, that fat will seal your pate, and it will help preserve it for a bit longer. Obviously, you need a good fitting lid as well, but make amazing gifts. Let me know how you get on. Let me know if you've enjoyed it as well. Like if you had a go, you made it and you enjoyed it. If there's anything you would do different, because I really like sharing different techniques and different ways of doing things. So I'd really like to know how you did it. If anybody else has got any other, I don't know, maybe they smoke at home as well. Maybe they've got a smoker. Maybe you've made one. I really want to make one. Let me know. But have a go and I hope you enjoy it. So some of these ingredients, again, you can get from the food chair. Don't forget, we've moved our Kevrana now. Now we're down St John's Hall, St John's in the Field. That's still on a Wednesday. You can go there, get a fresh cooked meal. I believe Paula's cooking there on a Wednesday now. You can go and pick up a hot meal. Also, we've got our Christmas dinner coming up. Please, if you know anybody that might fancy a bit of company on Christmas Day and they're on their own, please let them know, because it'd be really lovely to see as many people as possible up there. A really nice community meal. Anyway, take care, enjoy the holidays. Let me know if you enjoyed the mackerel pate. Bye.